Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Mass Monologues. Today I have with me Dreams. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are?
Yeah, I'm Dreams. I am a 3D artist. Basically, I am in the Web3 community a lot with my arts. I also do stuff outside of it in like Web2 space. Web3 is like the crypto world where people are selling art for cryptocurrencies and then converting those cryptocurrencies to USD dollars or whatever currency they need to. So that's what I do.
Now, I've heard
I
a lot
Yes.
about the cryptocurrency, converting that into art. Can you tell us a bit about how that works? Because I know musicians do it as well and other artists.
Essentially, you need to have a wallet, a digital wallet that is connected through Google Chrome or whatever extension you need to connect it through the internet. And then you can buy currencies on these different exchanges with whatever currency your current country is. And then you can send that currency to this digital wallet. And with that digital wallet, you can now be able to buy digital items within the cryptocurrency ecosystem, or you can potentially even list items. And what I do normally is I will get currencies from I will hop around different coins and check out different places I want to be potentially selling art. And I will send currencies to myself, figure out how to onboard and get involved in these different communities essentially. Everyone's different too. So each one is unique, but I think the best place to find information on how to get involved and actual like guidance on how to like get into the scene is to be on
Mhm.
Twitter and be searching up these coins, trying to interact with people in Twitter. That's where I've grown a lot as an artist. I'm at 50,000, almost 50,000 followers on Twitter. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's my
it's
experience.
wonderful. Can you tell us how you design your art? Because have
Yes.
Um, I don't have that much knowledge on digital art. I know a lot about fine arts, drawing illustrations, but just converting that into digital art. Do you use a program online? And how would you go about it if you were just starting out?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So currently in my workflow, I have around, I think 20 to 25 programs that I have used at some point to get a final result of my art.
Mhm.
That being said, there are certain programs that I utilize way more than others, and some programs are I only utilize once or twice ever in a year or 2 years. So it's all situational, and it's the biggest part about 3D art is just learning as many programs as you can and figure out how to combine all these programs into one final art piece and
Yes.
figuring out what style you want to do.
And I see that you do a lot of robotic art. Can you tell us why you chose that niche?
Yeah, some of the best artists in the world right now are doing cyberpunk like styled art. Like Cyberpunk 2077, the video game came out, and I think it had one of the best graphics there were out there at the time from a video game to that level. There's also this TV show called Love, Death, Robots, and they're all 3D. Everything about the whole entire show is 3D, and it's so 3D to the point where you watch it and if you didn't know that, you wouldn't know because it seems so realistic. So
Mhm.
it's a really interesting kind of transition that I'm starting to see with a lot of things in the world where I feel like this world's kind of heading towards more of a 3D centric
Yeah.
way of life.
Uh-huh. No, your
So
graphics look amazing. Do you use images and do overlays, or how do you get your designs to appear how they do?
a lot of it's just reference and then modeling in 3D and then painting in 3D and texturing in 3D.
And about how long does one of these pieces of digital art take you to do?
Uh, Anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks, I would say.
Or sorry, can I just ask?
Yeah, it's been starting to go up in time a lot lately because I've been trying to take on like really hard concepts. So some of these are
Uh-huh.
projects are taking like up to 2 months even.
Wow.
Because I'm like really trying to push as hard as I can right now with what I'm headed towards
Mhm.
with the complexity of some of these pieces.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And with the complexity, is there a point where you think you've gone in too much depth? Like you tried to make it too intricate? Or
no,
how do
because
you
I
know when you have to stop? The piece is finished.
honestly, I think it's just all conceptual. That those pieces that are getting really complex are just conceptual concepts. Like I want to make this guy's face unfold, and I want him to be a transformer inside, and then I want his face to fold up back again. It's just like
Yeah.
it's just a concept that I need to complete. I try not to get too distracted and going down this rabbit hole that I never am like going to come out of. I try to have an ideal goal, an idea in mind of where I want to end up a lot of the time, so I don't get too deep down that rabbit hole. Yeah,
Yeah, it seems a rabbit hole you could just go down and stay there forever.
kind of is. Yeah.
And so I'm seeing a lot of avatar, would you call it avatar images? Or how
Yeah.
would you yeah?
Plus, custom metaverse avatars. I feel like that's a good term for them, or digital humans, whatever you want to call them.
Yes. And
Yeah,
so how long have you been doing this for?
about 4 years at this point. I started
Wow.
during the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, and I was making music before that, and it wasn't doing well for me. And I saw it as a very brutal market to be a part of,
Mhm.
and I don't know, it just wasn't the thing for me. And as soon as I picked up art, I saw profit come in, and I saw growth instantly. 10 times the amount I saw music. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep going down this art path because it's obviously working.
It seems as though music is a very competitive environment.
Yeah.
And if you can transition into art, that's wonderful. I saw this thread, I think, on your Threads account, and it was if artists needed any covers. Do you provide covers for artists?
Oh,
What
yeah, 100%.
clients do you
That's
work
how I
with?
got, yeah, 100%. That's how I got started. I was initially a musician and
Mm,
transitioned to arts because, yeah, I saw that goes hand in hand. So I do a lot of stuff with musicians. I do covers, I do animated art, I do lyric videos, I can do like Canvas,
mhm.
Spotify, like those real things. I can even do
Yes.
like live visuals. I do basically everything. Honestly, I'm headed towards very in-depth art too, live visual performances with bigger people and music videos. That's the main
Yes.
area I'm headed towards. Yeah.
Do you have any musical genres that you work with artists on, or are you open to any clients?
Yeah, I'm open to any clients. I really would love to make some really cool metalcore animations, some very intensive, aggressive metalcore animations. I don't know why,
Mm.
but no one has ever hit me up for that yet.
Yes.
That's a metalcore band, but I feel like that'd be super cool. A lot of people that mainly hit me up are DJs, people who make
Mhm.
electronic music, also then rappers and trap people. There's a big mix, honestly, of people.
Yes. Is there any one visual or music video that you're proud of and that you believe was the best of all of your pieces?
Honestly, I don't know. I have a few short films that are 20 to 30 seconds long that were made in a game engine, and they're a bit more conceptual on how they're built out. I would say I'd have one piece. And it's this concept of this girl who's walking down this road. It's like kind of like punk struck city, essentially. And there's a bunch of animated screens going on, and she's looking around, and then the camera kind of zooms past her, and there's her again just sitting on a bench, staring at a sign. This is life, is a simulation, and then all glitches out, and then it just reverses and rewinds. I feel like
Uh-huh.
that piece is one of my favorite pieces because
Uh-huh.
it's conceptual and how does she just get to that bench, and I don't know, I like it.
Yes. So I know as a musician, did you do a lot of music production? Because if you do music production, you use like digital audio software. So you would have been already familiar with platforms or softwares to use. So was it a huge transition into using an art software?
Yeah, 100%. It's the same thing with music and art. There's plugins in art, there's plugins in music. So it's really nice that transition understanding of how to have your plugins and how those really can help you grow within a program. That whole sort of transition is really nice to understand. And it does go over hand to hand. So yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for programs that
Yeah.
artists might want to use?
Yes. It's all situational on what you want to do, but each program is different. I use DAZ for character creation,
Mhm.
DAZ. I use Blender for environments. I use Cinema 4D primarily for if you're going with super glowy looking stuff. There's a render engine there called Octane, and it has some of the best glowy looking outputs for renders and stuff like that. Then there's other ones, ZBrush, if you're into want to get into modeling. There's stuff like Substance Painter if you want to get into painting and texturing of objects. And then there's Marvelous Designer, which is the clothing designer. And yeah, there's just a bunch of different ones.
Yes.
This
And
depends on what you want to go into and then finding a
it
program to start in.
It seems as though you compile all of them together. You put your image in one software and then you download it, upload it to a different software. Is
Yeah,
that
when I
what
see what it is, it's like grabbing from each different piece and then finding where you want to put it in. Like, do you want to put it all into Blender and this is where you want to
uh-huh.
render it out, or you want to put it in Cinema 4D? Do you want to put it into Unreal Engine? Where do you want to put all this stuff that you get?
Yeah. Is it ever a frustrating process where you think, "Oh my gosh, this piece of software isn't working and I just wanna throw my computer across the room?"
I guess it gets frustrating when you get to the point where you realize you can't do anything more. For example, I wanted to make this interactive 3D art piece where I could spin around with a mouse and it open and be animated. And I got to the point where art can't do that. I need to learn coding now. So
Mhm.
that's when it starts getting really frustrating is when you actually have to go through creative coding instead of art
Yes.
because those
And
two worlds are completely different.
with coding, I've noticed that a lot of people use AI technologies to help them code. Have you ever tried doing that?
I haven't touched AI too much yet. I only use it for upscaling images right now and also materials. I use it for materials a little bit here and there. But I haven't dove into the AI world for coding yet because I don't even know how to code still to some extent. I know how to script a little bit, but coding, different story.
I know coding is an entire art within itself.
Yeah, there's creative coding and that's the whole entire thing.
Yes. And knowing what you've done now, what would you say is the one thing that you would have done differently when you started out?
I think the one thing I would have done differently when I started out would honestly just to understand that like each program isn't a scary monster. And if you're going into it trying to learn everything, you're just going to get nowhere. Going into programs with an idea of what you want to get out of it is
Mm.
the best approach to learning stuff within 3D. I think that's the best approach. Having an idea of what you want to do, what's the
Yes.
result you want to get, and then trying to go in there, learn how to do it, and you get that result. And then come out of it and then be like, wow, I just did that. I
Mhm.
probably can go back in there again and learn a little bit more. Maybe it'll be faster next time.
It's
So
more about having that initial idea and having that objective and then just
yeah,
finding the
100%.
tools to execute it.
Yeah, 100%. Because you can go into Blender, right, and make a spear. And now I have a spear. Congrats. Now what do you want to do?
I find that a lot of creatives, sometimes they go into it not knowing what they want to do, and then they just come out with something that they weren't expecting in the end. Would you suggest having that objective instead of just going into it willy-nilly?
Yeah, I think the objective helps, especially if you're new. Like you need to have an objective so you can understand how to use the program. And then once you're at the point where you fully understand this program, then you can go into it willy nilly and be like, I don't know what I want to make today, but I'm gonna make something. And then just go at it. I think that's the best approach when learning these programs. Otherwise you can get really frustrated and not understand why stuff's not working.
Yes. And now I want to ask you a little bit about the marketing aspect of your work for artists. Once you're completed all your
Yeah.
images, do you usually upload them? Would you suggest having a couple platforms where you upload them, or how would you go about getting clients?
Yeah, 100%. So it's interesting in the art world. My experience with the art world is I could sell a picture of a dot on a screen. It could sell for $1 million. And so with that ideology around art, it's honestly art can be nothing and it can have the most marketing in the world. I
No,
would say
I heard
marketing is
that
over.
a banana strapped to a cannabis sold for like I don't know, like $10 million or something
Oh yeah,
crazy
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Like it just stupid stuff like that's happening. Got it. Okay. Nothing really matters. Got it. Understood. This money laundering question mark? Maybe. Who knows? With that idea in mind, I think I was at marketing school recently. I'm almost graduated. Like only this last semester left. I'm basically like at the point where the teachers, hey, you should teach the class. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm not going to come to class. Just give me my degree. Um,
Yes.
so basically, from my knowledge with art and combining the business world with it, it's mainly just this idea of within the NFTs at least, is this idea of finding a community that sees your vision and sees how you will grow and making that prevalent to that community and then them supporting you and them helping you push to new boundaries that others aren't and
Yes.
starting somewhere where there isn't competition.
Mhm.
That's the hardest thing. Starting somewhere where there's no competition.
And how do you find that place without any competition? Because you have to hone in on a niche. And with art, how do you know what your niche is until I guess you start creating or you
Yeah.
find a community?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the hardest part. I think that's like the biggest struggle for every artist. And I think that's why rocks sell for millions. And I think that's why Pixel in the middle of the screen will sell for a few million
Yes.
because their own niche. But honestly, I think it's just being in the right place at the right time with the right community and when you're trying to sell. And I think it's also just being to a certain level of quality as well, or just having a certain level of quality of people that are interested in you.
Mm.
It's the mix of those two worlds, I think.
Okay. So, on that note, I'd like to wrap up this episode. Can you tell us any social media channels or your website that people can find you?
Of course, yeah. Lo-fi, LOFI DREAMZ, Lo-fi Dreams, .com, and that should hopefully take you wherever you need to go.
Okay. Thank you so much. And if you listeners like these episodes and you want more episodes like this, please share it with a friend or a family member. And we hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.